Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to video tutorial number 2 for the LSP Buckets of Joy Christmas Digital Background Bundle. If you're new to using digitals or Photoshop, please watch video 1 if you haven't already. This tutorial is fast, I'm going to move at a fast pace, and this is designed for those of you who are already used to using Photoshop and digitals. So come up here to open and locate your Buckets of Joy download. For this video tutorial, I'm going to be using the LSP Glitterati bucket. So open that one up into Photoshop. You will notice it comes up like this. You have the optional glitter overlay to turn on or off. You have an orange layer here called Place Your Baby Here. This is where you need to add your baby in so they are above the glitter, but below this flower. And you'll see why in a minute. It means the flower is already going to be over the baby's arm and you don't need to add any additional masking in there. I'm going to be using the LSP Newborn Digital Actions for this one. These are a separate purchase. You can get these on the LSP website at www.lsp-actions.com if you want them. They make compositing super easy, but of course you can also edit by hand. It's entirely up to you. So first of all, you need to locate your pre-edited baby image. Make sure you've edited baby first. It will save you a lot of time doing it that way, so make sure you do all your usual skin editing, create a nice contrasty edit for this one. You can either come up here, File, Place Embedded. I recommend placing your baby rather than copy and pasting. This way you keep the full resolution. Or if you're using Actions, you can click on the Add Baby. Locate the baby image on your computer and place them in. You'll see here, baby is under the flower, don't worry about that. At this point, you need to make sure the light in your image and the light in the digital match. The light in the digital is coming from camera left. If your image is lit from camera right, like this one by Anna Brandt, you need to right click and choose Flip Horizontal to make sure the light matches. Step 2 is resizing your baby. If you're using Actions, it will do this for you and make them transparent. If you're adding baby by hand, you'll have to resize them in manually. Like this. So make sure baby's hands are resting on the lip of the bucket and hit enter. The next point is adding a layer mask, which you can do that by clicking down here on the little icon. It's a rectangle with a square and looks with a circle and looks a bit like the Japanese flag. Click that to add a layer mask. If you're using the Actions, the layer mask will go black, which means it's inverted. It means everything is hidden. So you need to grab a white brush. If you've added a layer mask manually, it will be white, so you need to grab a black brush to paint away, because black means hide and white means show. But I'm using the Actions, so I'm going to use this black layer mask here. You can of course invert the layer mask to black if you want to, just by hitting Control or Command I. So paint baby in, so you've got a rough selection here. Because this is a layer mask, you're not erasing anything at all, the data is all still there, you're just deciding what shows and what doesn't. This means you can go back a little bit later on and edit a little bit more, refine the selection, anything like that. So I'm using a black brush to hide and a white brush to show, changing the softness or the hardness of the brush depending on the area. Ideally, you'd want to shoot baby at least for f5.6, perhaps even higher if you're closer, to avoid the edges being too soft. Once you're happy with your selection, you can go ahead and start adding shadow underneath the baby. If you're editing by hand, you're going to want to add the shadow by coming down to the adjustment layer icon down here. It's a circle, semicircles in it. So click on this one and add curves or levels. If you want to add shadowing to the baby, it needs to be above the baby layer, and you can right click, create a clipping mask just to affect the baby, like this. If you want to add shadows below the baby, you need to click on the base layer and add your curves in there, and this will only affect the areas underneath the baby. So it's all about where you place your adjustment layers within the layers panel. That's if you're editing by hand. I'm editing using the Actions, so I'm going to click Add the Main Baby Editing Layers here because it's so much easier. It will set them all up for me, ready clipped and ready to go. So grab a white brush First of all, I'm going to work underneath the baby layer on a gentle shadows layer. Again, you can create one yourself if you want to using curves. And I'm just adding some shadows underneath the baby here. So these shadows are affecting the digital. I'm going to click on the shadow above the baby. You can see this is an adjustment layer. Click to the baby image. And I'm just going to add a little bit of darkness here and some shadows to the baby. If at any point you go too heavy, you can use a black brush to hide this and white to show. And the next step would be to blend the colours of your image. So I'm using the blend the colours section of the actions, but again you can add manual layers in here if you want to. The LSP actions come with a layer called blend the tones here that I've just clicked on. It helps adapt the tones and any fabrics of your baby image to suit digital backgrounds. Add a little more darkness around the edge there. And of course you can continue editing until you're happy blending the baby. Remember to place baby underneath this flower layer here if you're using the glitterati background. And you can decide whether you wish to turn on the glitter or not by clicking on this little eye icon here next to glitter. And you can mask more of this if you wanted to, just to allow a little bit to show by adding a layer mask. You can brush a little bit of this off. Sorry, I'm confusing myself there, if you wanted to. This is the Glitterati bucket. This is available as a set of 4 digital bucket backgrounds shot by Anna Brandt, available at www.lsp-actions.com. I'm Lauren, thanks for watching.